Nancy Pelosi has consistently stood up for the needs of current and future retirees, and during the long, contentious debate over health care reform, she kept pushing for the new law to strengthen Medicare, to make sure that Medicare dollars went to seniors and not to big corporations or insurance companies. Because of Nancy Pelosi, the 2010 Affordable Health Care Act makes it easier for seniors to afford to see a doctor and fill a prescription. In this year's debate over federal spending, Leader Pelosi has been one of the strongest voices for seniors, insisting that we do not balance the budget on the backs of seniors. Her recent appointments to the Super Committee reflect her strong commitment to Social Security and to Medicare. On a number of occasions, she has invited Alliance members to stand with her at events on Capitol Hill, providing our members the chance to tell Congress firsthand just how important Social Security and Medicare are to them. And for her outstanding record of dedication and commitment to older Americans, I am proud to present to Nancy Pelosi the Alliance's Leadership Award. My fellow Alliance members, Nancy Pelosi. You're welcome. You're a doll.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Barbara, for this beautiful award. Thank you very much, Alliance for Retired Americans, for this wonderful, wonderful manifestation of your strength. Look at this. Look at this. Reaching to the sky, celebrating the past, getting ready for the future, fighting for the future. I thank you for acknowledging that many of you have stood with us on Capitol Hill as we have spoken out for fairness and for dignified retirement for our seniors. I want to also acknowledge that many of you have stood with us across the country. I know my fellow Californians are there, and many times, hello, pretty big contingent. Some of my friends from Maryland nearby, where there you are. And recently I had the occasion to be in New Mexico, and I was with Silviana Diaz, Silviana, right here again, and she's here with Sally Galosa, who was with us that day. That was a week and a half ago when you gave the Alliance for Retired Americans a plaque to Congressman Lujan for his leadership in protecting Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. So we're all working together for a long time, and very important. Right now, we've said over and over again, there's never been a more crucial time in history. The decisions that are going to be made, the impact of elections, never more crucial. And it always is true. It always just becomes more crucial, unfortunately. You would hope that we had gone from survival to success to some transformation in thinking of the American people, that elections shouldn't be so drastic in the choices that you have to make. But we have been asked to find common ground on how we go forward. I think last night the President of the United States set a very high standard. He took the search for common ground from the smaller discussions of what do you cut, how do you spend this or that, to the higher ground of values. Do we value the education of our quality education of our children? Do we value a dignified retirement for our seniors? Do we value creation of jobs, working to create more small businesses and create jobs throughout our country? Do we value the safety of the American people, the public safety, and do we value doing this in a fiscally sound way? It honors for us what we have been saying, the back to basics. It's ABCs about job creation. A, make it in America, American-made. B, build America, build the infrastructure of America and create jobs. C, we want to have a community recovery corps to help rebuild the communities that have just been affected and continue to be affected by natural disasters, be they floods, forest fires, hurricanes, tornadoes, you name it. Our whole country is susceptible. Much of our country has been impacted. We believe we can have economic recovery as we rebuild those communities. But none of it is possible without a strong public sector. So as we respect the development of jobs in the private sector, and we support that, we have to respect the public sector. When the president talked last night about teachers, Randy, weren't we happy about that? And are we honored to have Randy Weingartner here and salute her tremendous leadership. And Reuben, when he talked about public safety and that we could, with the money that was going to more stability for our states and localities, that some of that funding could be spent on our first responders, on our police for public safety. That was an important message as well. I think it's really important to say, acknowledge in all of this, that while we must reduce the deficit, we know that cutting too much too soon can impede economic growth. All of the economists tell us this. All of the bipartisan commissions have talked about that. And also, if it's about reducing the deficit, we know how to do that, right? We did that after President Bush won. The Reagan-Bush deficit, President Clinton had to clean that up. We worked with him in the Democratic Congress to do that, to the risk of some of our members losing their races because it was a very tough vote. And we lost the Congress, and for that was one of the reasons. Members voted to raise taxes in some of their districts. It was just not acceptable. Raising some taxes on the wealthiest people in our country. Well, that reflects their district, but that does not reflect the spirit of America. So it's reduced, and President Clinton took us to a place where his last 4 budgets were in balance or in surplus. So we know how to do that. We come in again, another President Bush, another tremendous deficit that we have to reduce. We know we have to do that. But if it were just about that, we could get that done. Again, we know how to do it. We've done it before. It's not about that. It's about some in the Republican Party on the very far right using the excuse of deficit reduction to destroy the public space. To destroy the public space. They're using that excuse when they're talking about public education, whether you're talking about public safety, you're talking about clean air, clean water, whether you're talking about food safety, you name it, their initiatives in the rest of their legislation are all about diminishing that. Diminishing that. That's the fight that we have. We don't want any more government that we need, but we need the government that we will fight for. So I thank you all for being there with us. 220 Democrats strong pushing open that gate, but we could not have done it without you being there. It took all of us to get it done. The day after the bill passed, the president called and said, last night when you passed the health care bill, I was happier than I was the night I was elected president of the United States. So I said, well, I was pretty happy last night too, Mr. President, but I wasn't happier than the night you were elected president of the United States. Because if you weren't elected president of the United States, we would not be passing this health care bill now without your leadership and persuasiveness and the rest and signature. And we simply could not have done it without you, Mr. President. But we simply could not have done it without all of you, the Alliance for Retired Americans as well. So I hope you take some level of pride in the role you played in that historic legislation, putting us right up there with those who passed Social Security, Medicare, health care for all Americans as a right, not a privilege. I know you were on Capitol Hill yesterday, continuing your good work. You helped us when there was an assault on Social Security, 05 and 06 under President Bush. You were there to push that back. You've been constantly in your history advocates for strong Social Security. You're here now to, in this particular assault on fairness and dignified retirement for our seniors. Thank you for the work you did on Capitol Hill yesterday. Now, as we go out back into the country, we have to keep the drumbeat going of fairness, of our values, of respecting the role our seniors played in building America in every possible way, building our families, protecting us in terms of our national security in the military, growing our economy, educating our children. You name it, you've done it. We're grateful, and it's a sign of the values of our country that we honor your contribution to our country's future, celebrating our past, fighting for our future. Thank you very much, Alliance for Retiring Americans.